Now, my ideal Life is Strange would be a game where they continue off the nostalgic effect that they put on episode 5 of season 2. Now, the reason why I think this is because, well, let me say this first. Not everybody would disagree, but season 1 and Before the Storm were way better than season 2, especially because, the sales and because of the lore effect, right? Even after years after season 1, after 2015, years after 2015, people are still obsessed with the fact that, you know, with Max and Chloe or Chloe Rachel, Max Warren, whatever, right? There's still so much more obsession that goes into that, and you'll never see that in season 2, right? That's for one thing, and just the whole dramatic effect and the cliffhangers that took place in season 1 were just unbeatable by season 2. Now, I feel like the way Life is Strange 3 should work because of these, cliffhangers, it has to be, like, just so, bring some of these characters back that they shown in episode 5, like David Madsen, Chloe Max, right? Victoria Chase, Jefferson, and Nathan, right? We've seen all those, characters appear at some point, either be in the papers or in a picture, right? All of them appeared in episode 5. But one way not to bring them back would be a cheesy way where there's like mushy stuff in the way. It's like, if anything, it should be no backstory at all. It should just be a continuation of what we heard in episode 5, meaning that Chloe Max took place, they were in New York at the time, and if they continue with that story and maybe another catastrophe happens because maybe, most people would probably have sacrificed Arcadia Bay or Chloe. I mean, it really depends on what ending is canon in the directors and developers book, and that's really what it depends on. But I'm gonna assume that there's a possibility that obviously I don't think a lot of people really would pick to save Arcadia Bay, but let's say the canon ending is that Chloe lives, right? The Life is Strange 3 would take place playing as either Max or Chloe or someone that they were close with or they met along the way, and there's a whole new story arc, and it's like a fresh new story, but with nostalgic effect that most games bring in their trilogies, right? Now, making a whole new character would be the complete wrong thing to do, because when you bring a new character into a story after having this is going to be a pretty much fourth game, right? I mean, this is something that will definitely kill the series, because having so many new characters is nothing really the player can feel off of, right? There's not really, how would I say? There's not really a connection when we're forced to go from character to character to character over and over again, right? And it's like when you feel, you grow a bond with the character. Those are the games that they win several awards, because the character is something that you invest in for years, not just a series of months, right, or a couple hours of gameplay, right? The best way they can bring it back is if they have that nostalgic effect that season 2 relied on. Season 2 relied on that nostalgic effect for episode 5 to be so well in that part where David was back and we saw all those season 1 characters return in some way, whether it be writing or pictures, right? There has to be some type of nostalgia that we can feed off of, so that we can pretty much, I mean, the game will be good regardless, right? Regardless of if there's new characters or not, or there's returning characters, right? But every fan wants returning characters, right? That's just how it is in most trilogies. And I mean, for them not to do that, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be a good look. And they know this. They know in their hearts, they know that season 2 would never be good as season 1, because they put their all into season 1. You could see it. You could see the comparison between the episodes of season 1 and season 2. It's known that they've obviously put more of their heart and sweat, right, into the first season, and even before the storm. It's just that having another game where it's a new set of people would be kind of dried out, and we know that if that happens, the third game would be probably the death of the whole franchise, right? But in order to, for longevity, my bad, we need to have some type of, callback to either season two or season one or even both. And I think they don't know. I'm pretty sure they know what they have to do to make this third one a banger, right? Because you don't want to have another game where people are like, oh, season two is better than season three. You don't want to have one of those games where the first two are better than the third one. You want to have that third one, if it's going to be the last one, possibly. You want to have that one go out with a bang and have the fans knowing that, the third one will be so far unbeatable by the first and the second. You don't want to have a third game that is even competing with the first two, especially after all those years of voice acting and motion capture. And I mean, that's just like that's just the story part that I want to touch on, right? The next part I want to touch on is the motion capture of the game, right? There has to be some type of new engine and a better motion capture with better character models would definitely do the game a great service, because as we all know, like, there's been a lot of glitches and weird animations when they're talking in season one and two, where like the mouth isn't moving, or just everything seems weird. It's the same animations. It's like kind of awkward, right? But it fits the game. Life is Strange, right? It kind of fits the strange part of the game, but it's just that it's kind of lazy, obviously. But if there's a new engine and there's a better motion capture, motion capture sessions where they spend hours and hours getting all the animations on point, and all the facial animations on point, taking reference from games like Last of Us 2 or Rockstar games, right? There's so much they can do to make this third one, the revolutionary game or the cash cow for the franchise, and make it better than the first and second. So that's pretty much it. That's one, right? New season, right? To start it off, have new characters, of course, but have returning characters that we can possibly, play as, or we can be secondary characters to them. Like, let's say if you were playing as Chloe, you'd practically be a secondary character to Max, because Max is the one with the powers, and that would be pretty cool. Like, if I just thought about that just this second. Like, if you play as Max after the events of the incident, right, or the storm, or the tornado, whatever, right, or the hurricane, you would play next to her and know, and it would be like a crazy feeling to know how how would I say this, like, Chloe's place, right? You'd be there, you'd be in her shoes, and you would see how crazy it is for someone like your best friend Max to have all these powers, and like everything she does is the right decision, and you're just blown away by it. And it would be cool to see, to play as someone that's next to Max instead of playing as her again, and like noticing how she's changing everything around her, and how she's, like I said, always making the best and the right decisions, and she knows what to do because of these powers, right? But there's a whole lot more they can do. I just thought about that just now. But yeah, bringing back characters, having new characters, of course, more time in the motion capture, right? Obviously a new engine. I mean, what else would there be? I'm guessing to even finish it up, I mean, there has to be just pretty much just go with the flow that Life is Strange 1 went with, right? Having cliffhangers, pretty much every other episode, or if they can, every episode, right? I mean, because that's what made Life is Strange Season 1 so much better than the second, because so much people can relate to Life is Strange 1, because, most people who played it are either girls or boys in high school or college or whatever, and they can easily relate to how crazy things can get throughout the week. And there's just no way that the season 2 was able to just outbeat that game. I don't feel like they had that same passion they had when making season 2, because if they did, it would be, by far the best one. But in my opinion, a lot of people will disagree, but I mean, I just feel like the season 1, just the season 1 flow, and just the season 1, episodes, and the characters and the story was just way more immersive, and you can definitely stand behind that way more than season 2. And I don't know if that's a popular or unpopular opinion, but Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but there's a lot more I want to touch on, but I definitely want to save more for the next, the just stay with the flow. Just wait for more news and see what happens, because I can't really, go on an onslaught of like, oh, put this in the game, put this in the game. You guys got to do this, or it's just only time will tell. They're gonna obviously after maybe a year or two, who knows? It could be longer, shorter, but there will be, of course, news or some type of teaser or announcement in the next coming E3s possibly. But that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on. So I mean, if you guys have any you know any ideas or any plot changes or maybe some type of engine or maybe what would you who would you want to bring back in the new story, or who would you even like, I don't know, like how would you, like I said in my other videos, right? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I have a video that's like showing an interview between the writers of Donut Entertainment, people who wrote season 1 and season 2. They were interviewed by GameSpot, I think. Yeah, GameSpot. And they were pretty much talking about how they would make, or in what direction they would go about making Life is Strange 3. You guys definitely want to check that one out. But yeah, anybody, if you have any suggestions or any ways you'd make the story, or any story plots you would change about Life is Strange 2, or even, if you want to, you could write paragraphs if you want. I'll read them, whatever. Paragraphs about, how would you start off or open up Life is Strange 3? How would you tease it? Or, what characters would you have in that story? And how would the story be? Would there be powers? Would there not be powers? Would there be several characters that you play as? Would there be just one character that you play as? I definitely would be down to hear it. But till then, I mean, it's been your boy, and peace out. I hope you guys just make sure you guys like, share, and sub, and that's it.
Made it here. So, I know you're on the right path. Oh, sorry. I really have to take this. Hey, sweetie. What's up? No shit. Told you New Yorkers were assholes. Yeah, I know. How about that other gallery she told me about? Cool. Fingers crossed then.